What's the big deal about reconciliation? You might think if you don't steal, kill, or commit any crimes, you're good with God. That's a good start. But if you're not working on developing your relationship with God, you're missing the point. In the Bible, the words fear of the Lord has always bothered me because it doesn't seem right like God's trying to intimidate us or force us into submission when that's definitely not the case. He's not a bully, He's love itself. In Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13, I found that fear of the Lord is actually fear of falling out of love with God, of letting our relationship with Him fade away and becoming alienated from Him. That never happened with Abraham, but it did happen to his descendants, and we don't have a great track record either, including myself. That's where Christ's message of reconciliation comes in. It's not about us failing to follow God's orders. The new covenant is about reuniting with Him after we've been alienated ourselves from God and being empowered by the Holy Trinity so we can all use our Holy Spirit to co-create a better world with Him. In today's reading, listen to what the Lord's messenger tells Abraham. Again, the Lord's messenger called to Abraham from heaven and said, I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you acted as you did, and not withholding from me your beloved Son, I will bless you abundantly and make your descendants as countless as the stars of the sky and the sands of the seashore. Your descendants shall take possession of the gates of their enemies, and in your descendants all the nations of the earth shall find blessing. All this because you obeyed my command. Abraham then returned to his servants, and they set out together to Beersheba, where Abraham made his home. By the grace of God, and it's all by the grace of God, I can say today that I no longer suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of the childhood sexual violence I endured years ago. That's why I read these few verses of this psalm wholeheartedly that say, Not to us, Lord, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory, because of your kindness, because of your truth. Why should the pagans say, where is their God? I will walk in the presence of the Lord in the land of the living. Like I said earlier, fear of the Lord is actually a fear of falling out of love with God, of letting our relationship with God fade away and becoming alienated from Him. Well, that never happened with Abraham. It did happen to his descendants, and we don't have a great track record either. That's where Christ's message of reconciliation comes in. It's not about us failing to follow God's orders. The new covenant is about reuniting with Him after we've alienated ourselves from God and being empowered by the Holy Trinity, so we can all use our Holy Spirit to co-create a better world with Him. Now listen to today's gospel. After entering a boat, Jesus made the crossing and came into his own town, and there people brought to him a paralytic lying on a stretcher. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, Courage, child, your sins are forgiven. At that, some of the scribes said to him, This man is blaspheming. Jesus knew what they were thinking and said, Why do you harbor evil thoughts? Which is easier to say, Your sins are forgiven, or to say, Rise and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. He then said to the paralytic, Rise, pick up your stretcher, and go home. He rose and went home. When the crowd saw this, they were struck with awe and glorified God, who had given such authority to men. Like I've said before, as children of God, we're called to an intimate love relationship with God, the likes of which will blow your mind more than any drug possibly could. When you start making it a habit of really listening for God, and carefully discerning that it's His voice, you will enter what I call the God zone. Professional athletes describe that playing a perfect game is like being in a zone. The zone that they're in is the present moment. They're so in sync with whatever they're doing, and as long as they stay in the present moment, they can do no wrong. The God zone is more than just being in the present moment. It's being so connected, so intimate with God, that you're in sync with Him just as much as you are with the present moment. You're not analyzing it, you're not thinking about it, and when someone challenges you, it means nothing. You are one with the Creator. You don't even realize that He's bringing out natural gifts and co-creating an empowered life for you. Once your transformation happens, your rock-solid faith helps you develop an even deeper relationship with God, which will inspire others to turn to Him and help transform their lives. God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift, you.